I picked up all of these inks in a crazy Facebook Marketplace haul, and I don't know how to use them. We have 1 week to complete Inktober. How's about we ease into it and start the first week with a 1-color challenge? That's right, Inktober is back. And I have barely used inks, but look how many there are. Lots of different types too. And we're back in the sketchbook I used for 2023, Peachtober. This time things are a little bit different, since this is the only art supply. We're not using gouache, we're not using pastels, we're not using anything else. Just inks, paintbrushes, dip pens. Dedicating this entire art challenge to learning one art supply. And of course we need to start with a title page. This is the perfect warm-up, and it just makes sense when you're flipping through a sketchbook to have a little introduction to the challenge. Though I don't know if these are going to go through the page. And these gorgeous blooms along the edge, where it's all beautiful and bright, turn into mud. We need to figure out how to control this. Otherwise it's all going to blend together and we're just going to get brown. It's okay, that's the entire point of the art challenge. And there really is a lot you can learn from them. You could pick a theme and really dedicate time to learning and improving your skills around that. I've seen people complete entire art challenges like this, only using portraits or only using the same character for every single prompt. And a lot of the time, repetition really is the best way to improve. When it comes to making art, there aren't many shortcuts. All you can really do is create and learn. Especially when it comes to a new medium like this. We've used the watercolor ink, we've also got India ink, and there are acrylic inks. They're all different and we need to figure them all out. And after the title page, we've got the prompt list. I do often forget to do this, but it just makes sense. And using only inks for 31 art prompts, I'm hoping we're gonna learn a lot more than if I was just using the inks when I had time. They're not the easiest medium to grab, so this is going to be like a crash course. Let's figure out how to use them, create a lot of art, and find out everything on the go. And look just how many prompts there are. And with that, we're good to go. You might recognize some of the prompts from the prep video we did, and you might already know that we're starting off very weak. The first prompt is mustache. How difficult is that? Had a little think on mustache. Could not come up with anything better. So unfortunately, yes, here we are. We are drawing a mustache, and the first color is grey. Not something I would normally lean towards, but this is Inktober, and even though it is Inktober, we're actually going to be using a lot of colour, so we're starting very simple. And after quickly drying off that layer, we're going in with number 2 and a dip pen, which I do not have much experience with. Trying to add a little bit of line work, a bit of hair over this kind of mess. Well, okay, I really like the blooms. I just don't know how to turn this into a piece. It's the weakest idea. We're back with a darker grey. You wouldn't know it, but about an hour has passed and I've decided we need to make this darker. It's a 1-color challenge. I was using warm grey or cold grey, trying to make this piece work. But you know what? It's lacking contrast and we need a darker colour. It's still grey. It's still a 1-color challenge. But when it comes to inks, and in particular watercolour inks, with the little experience I have from the 24-hour challenge we did for Peachtober, if the colour isn't rich enough straight from the bottle, you can't make it darker. And if we're not getting enough contrast with the lighter grey, you have to do a lot of layers to try and make it darker. That's what I'm learning so far. We have spirals. This is weird. Trust me when I tell you that this is a warm-up piece. It gets better. Inktober prompt number 2, weave. That's tricky. Well, I guess the next color is green. Learning from our mistakes, we have 2 bottles this time. My thinking is that the watercolor inks might be best as the first layer, spreading in the water since they're super transparent and usually quite light. But that's where the acrylic inks come in handy, because honestly, they can do both. They seem like a super versatile medium. I don't know much about them, but you can make them really transparent, really light, and also use them thicker, and they're pretty opaque. The watercolor ink is a little bit confusing. It's absolutely beautiful. You can see the lovely blue-green shade down. That is the Ecoline ink, but it's very odd. I don't really know how we're supposed to be using it. I guess like watercolor, but then that makes me question why. The acrylic ink, I can fully get behind now. You really get your money's worth. There is so many different ways that you can use them, and I'm probably not using them correctly. There's a little bit in the background. This is a dream catcher for the prompt weave. Was supposed to be a proper window behind, but I fell in love with the blooms a little bit too much, so it's loose. It hasn't turned out how I expected. Was not planning green, but it's different, that's for sure. Number 3 is crown. And for this prompt, we're drawing Cinderella. This again comes from the prep video, but we're changing it up a little. The color of choice is pink. It's calling to me. I want to use lots of different colors for this challenge. Really, we need to work our way through this entire box. So let's have a fun color. Starting off with Wet on Wet. And this is the Cardi sketchbook. It's handmade paper, it's 100% cotton, and there are some struggles. But right now, it's going okay. The watercolor ink first, and then really we're just trying to build it up. But already, things are not going to plan. Okay, so if you caught the prep video, you'll know that we are very much trying to draw Cinderella. That's the plan. However, unintentionally, I think she kind of ended up in my art style. It was just supposed to be drawing Cinderella for crown, but somehow I stylized it, and now we're going with that. There is a part of me that does actually prefer Cinderella at this stage. The skin has some beautiful water blooms, but unfortunately it's lacking contrast, it's lacking depth. So I'm just layering. I'm adding ink where I probably shouldn't be, but we've started now. We have to keep going. Unfortunately, that means a lot of these blooms are getting covered up, and there really is no way to go back. That seems to be the hardest part with ink so far, is that if you go on top of the blooms, you have fully lost them. It doesn't blend out as easily as with watercolor, and it's not like gouache where you can kind of blend to the layer that's below, especially on this paper. It can reactivate the ink in a little bit of an odd way, which means that if you're going on top of all these lovely blooms, you really do just lose them. It's the direction we're going in. So I'm still adding more to this portrait, deepening the shadows, making it darker, adding more contrast. This is the route, so we are going with it. And accidentally stylizing. And whilst we're almost done, not quite, reaching for a white gel pan. This is the Uniball Signo, which I have been loving recently. It's quite big, so you don't want to make any mistakes, but I found it rolls a lot better than the Jelly Roll pens by Secura. And eventually this is the Cinderella that we've created. Inktober prompt number 4 is Murky. So let's make one big mess. Wet the page first and then add a ton of ink. Carefully. The color of choice is blue, and I think that will fit this scene well. It would have been blue, green, or brown, I think, to really make this work. But we have 3 inks for this mess. We have blue, dark blue, and almost like a blue-green. I guess it's turquoise. I'm gonna be honest, already I think I'm overworking this. I just could not make the blooms look pretty. Even in that first layer, the prompt is murky. We are painting a landscape. There's a lake up front, there's a couple of mountains, and lots of trees. This is supposed to be a simple thing to paint, and it's the kind of thing that will look better if we keep it simple. If you add more and more detail to a piece like this, using only ink, it's probably gonna end up muddy and you can easily lose highlights. So we're spontaneously going in with a dip pen. Went for a walk, came back, decided this is the route to go because it's just not working. We need a little bit more detail. The cute, flowy, loose, messy look, it never happened. That's okay. Change things up, adapt, try and make it work. Somewhat saved, but not at all what I was expecting. Moving on to Inktober prompt number 5, deer. Just like how 5 last year for Peachtober was fawn. How cool is that? We have acrylic ink and a dip pen to draw a cute little deer over this sketch. So far, it's my understanding that acrylic ink and indie ink is pretty much waterproof once it's down. So if we want line work, that's where we need to begin. Otherwise, the watercolor is just going to be reactivated. And since it's ink, it seems to be reactivated a lot easier than regular watercolor. I don't know why, just what I noticed. We're adding blooms. It's looking chaotic. And now for the background. This piece is inspired by a piece I created last year for Peachtober, making a few tweaks. The biggest one is that I want the deer to blend into the background this time and actually fit in the environment, but I'm not sure this is working. So, in a crazy turn of events, we're adding bold line work. Yes, that lovely dip pen sketch that was very shaky is now being covered up by brush. And I think we saved it. On to Inktober prompt number 6, Pierce. Yes, the theme is orange. One of my most disliked colors to use, and yet this piece is my favorite from the entire art challenge. I am so excited to finally show you this portrait because I am in love with it. We are very carefully placing the ink, dropping it in, and gradually moving it around the water, being very careful to not overdo it. The last one, we kind of lost a lot of the highlights. So we're learning from that. Add it slowly, be very careful, and add some dots around the outside. Then there's the acrylic ink. This seems to work really well as a second layer because if the hair was made of watercolor ink and we popped it down next to the watercolor ink that's already down, it does reactivate it. It seems like we're gonna have to use multiple different types of ink to create these pieces because even adding the eyebrows and the eyes right now, it's only the indie ink and acrylic ink that seems to go over and not disturb what's underneath. If you're a pro when it comes to inks, this probably seems like common sense, but they are a very difficult medium and I have no clue. A lot of it is just trial and error and quite a bit of error. I'm hoping I haven't overdone this painting. I don't know, let me know what you think down below because I got very scared adding this line work and the highlights, but I am still in love. This is my favorite. I want to make it a sticker. And finally, we're ending the first week of prompts with number 7, starfish. Things are looking up. We started off a little bit sketch concerning, but now we have blue. We're making a mess, wetting the page and dropping the ink down. And after making deer and pierce, I am feeling confident about this art challenge. Well, maybe confident is a little bit of a strong word, but we've warmed up, got a little bit of a technique going, and kind of saved the first week with those 2 pieces. So now we are just making a mess, seeing what we can learn. And I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters as we try to add detail to this starfish. Well, that edge is not crisp at all. We need to neaten up these lines, add a bit of texture, some dots, and hope that this piece will look kind of cool in a simple way. It's a month-long art challenge. There needs to be quick pieces. It needs to be realistic. If you go into a monthly art challenge like this, thinking every piece is going to be your best work ever, it's going to be so much harder to actually finish it. So always manage those expectations. And that is the first week of prompts all complete. Started off a little bit rocky, but we're getting there. And I'm super excited for next week's. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here in a few days' time.